Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to make a build video on Frost. So Frost I got recently just because for MR and stuff like that, but I've actually come to like Frost a lot, and I would argue that he's my favorite frame right now. So Frost, what he does, your passive, cold statuses from Frost abilities have their duration increased by 100%, and Frost gains 50 armor per enemy afflicted with cold status within 15 meters. Your first ability, Freeze, you just shoot a little ice ball out and it freezes enemies in a little like small AoE. Yeah, 7-meter radius, a little small AoE. Your second ability, you shoot out a little wave of crystals and it'll just do damage in like a cone in front of you. For Frost's third ability, you make a dome of ice around you and you can like hit it again and it'll do like a little explosion, I believe. But when enemies come inside of it, they take a bunch of Frost statuses and things like that. And this thing lasts pretty much forever. Like, I haven't seen it expire before because you get, like, stacks or something with it. And then, when they're inside, you can hold, and it'll blow up the bubble. And your 4, which is what we're going to use for our survivability as well as damage, you do a giant AoE explosion, and then we have the Augment Icy Avalanche on, so it'll convert 38% of our armor to Overguard. Our Overguard cap with this one is 28,500, but I've been able to get it to over 30,000. So for this build, we have Brief Respite. Energy that we use on our abilities is converted into shields. We have Archon Flow, which increases our energy max, and then enemies killed by cold abilities have a 10% chance to drop an energy orb. Rolling Guard for a little like panic button kind of deal. Precision Intensify to boost the strength of our 4. Archon Stretch for more range. Primed Continuity for more duration. Streamline for some efficiency. Icy Avalanche so that we can get our Overguard from our 4. And then Equilibrium. If you don't like Equilibrium, you could also use Energy Nexus. And then Molt Augmented and Arcane Energize. Ideally, instead of Energize, use Arcane Aegis, but I don't have it, so I'm just slotting in Energize. And then for your Exilus slot, I could do this, but I'm saving up for some other builds right now. I would throw in something like Power Drift or Blind Rage, or not Blind Rage, Power Drift or Mobilize, or if you have it, Prime Sure-Footed. But now, oh yeah, one more thing with the build as well. I haven't gotten him yet, but I'm working on it for this build specifically. Subsume and Nourish over your 2. That's the only other change that I plan to make to this build other than adding in an Exilus mod in the future. Subsume Nourish from Grendel on your 2 because it'll make this so much stronger and give you more energy and things like that. But with that being said, let's show out all the abilities for Frost. So Frost, your 1, you shoot it out and it does a big AoE freeze and it just freezes enemies in their place, and the ones next to them will get like partial frozen almost. And then your 2, you do a slam, and it does a big old cone and does ice in the big area. And then once you hit 10 stacks, it looks like, it freezes them fully. Your 3, you put down the big old bubble, and it pushes enemies away from you. And then if we do this, it should push them in around the bubble as well. And then since that one's in, I'll show you here. You blow up the bubble, and it'll knock them down, and then they'll still be frozen while knocked down. So you can keep them knocked down. And then your 4, let me go reset everything here so I can show the 4 off better. There we go. And let me reset these enemies. Alright. Now, Frost's 4 is what we're using for our main survivability, aside with Brief Respite and Rolling Guard. So what you want to do is get a bunch of enemies like this and jump in the air. Well, you don't have to jump in the air. I like to use it in the air. You could just stand on the floor and do it. But you can see up in the top right, every time we hit it, we're gaining Overguard. And it will also freeze them and slow and everything like that. But we have 19,000 Overguard now. With, up in the top right, you can see we have 300 armor because they have been frozen. And if we run closer, you can see we have 1,000 armor standing in these enemies. We'll cast this again. We have 1,000 armor standing in these enemies. due to our passive. So we have 1,000 armor, which means you can get which means you can get more overguard because you have more armor. And then as they unfreeze and things, the armor will trail off. But that's the main survivability of this build, is them just not being able to really do much because they are frozen. And then I'll unpause the AI so that they're actually moving around and doing things. And I'll show you this build with them moving. There we go. And now they're frozen, and even though they want to shoot at me, they can't. And then it looks like the cold armor stripped as well. Or maybe something else did, I'm not sure. I've never noticed it doing that before. But there we go. And then that's pretty much how the abilities work. And your cycle's just to spam your 4 all around town, just so you can get your overguard up super high. And then just get your 3 active, and then freeze enemies, and use whatever weapons you want. I'm using Burst on Prime and Karnan because I think it's probably my favorite weapon right now. I was using Fenmore in my last couple of videos, but I don't know, I really like Burst on Prime and Karnan. I've also got a new build for it that I've been running. This is the one I showed in my video. This is the one I've been using here lately, which not perfect because I need to upgrade this. But we've Galvanized Chamber, Vital Sense, High Voltage, Crit Delay, Vile Acceleration, Malignant Force, Rhyme Rounds. If you don't have these 3 because they're 60/60s, you can just put normal Toxin, normal Cryo Rounds, and normal Stormbringer on here. And then Hellfire, I need to upgrade this, but I haven't formatted at all, so... But it gets the job done even with the 15%. And this is a Blast and Corrosive build. And then for this one, Arcane Adapter, I would throw on something like Deadhead or Merciless. And then for the Exilus slot, I would throw on something like... I don't know, it doesn't really need anything. You could throw on Ammo Drum if you want to, but I don't think this weapon really needs any Exilus mods, unless there's one that I'm missing here. But yeah, that's Ash, and I will jump into a mission and show you guys what this build can do. Alright, now we are in a mission. I went ahead and activated Xenarix so I can start getting some energy flowing in here. So, like I said before with this build, you just kind of want to run into the enemies and cast your 4. And then if they're within your 15 meters, you'll start gaining Overguard, and it'll freeze. And then once they're frozen, you just kind of do whatever you want. You shoot the crits to get your Incarnate active, do a little roll, so we don't get blasted by that guy. Here we go. Throw our little bubble up to push him away. Back here, arm. There we go. Get rid of these guys. And then just so you can see we are on Steel Path, I'll freeze these guys and look at them. There we go. Steel Path, we're here on Deimos. But your survivability is in freezing and your overguard. Because if the enemy can't move, the enemy can't stop you from doing whatever you want in your mission. So, you know, they can't really do anything, and you can just stand here and spray this guy. Dual finisher here. There we go. And then anywhere where you're with other players and you have like super high ability regen, because I was farming Vitus Essence last night with this build, you just have unlimited energy, and there's nothing the enemies can really do to prevent you from having 30,000 Overguard and them being frozen. This is, I would say, my favorite build at the moment, though, with everything that I've been trying out. Because I have a Nova build, which will be coming out tomorrow, and my Ash Prime and everything like that. I still think this is my favorite combo that I've been working with recently. And I'm not sure why, but I don't know, I just really like Ash. But this build's pretty simple, and then weapons, it's whatever you want. I really like Burst on Incarnate with this Blast setup. I think my normal one is technically better with a Bane and everything like that. But I don't know, the Blast one's just kind of fun. Just to see all the numbers and the Blast procs and everything. And then, yeah, the guys with Overguard, you obviously have to pop the Overguard, but then you just full freeze them. And there's nothing they can really do. And then this one, you really don't even need Zeneric for it, because you can see I have full energy, and all I did was execute one enemy. And they can't really move, so you can just slay out until you get the energy, or get the ability to do an execution. If you have the Parazon mod that gives you the energy chance on execute, or on a mercy. But that's kind of the build for this one. I'm not sure why there's not very many enemies spawning, because this is Steel Path and everything like that. Get rid of this little dude. And then, like I said prior, subsume Nourish over your 2. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You can see the build's working perfectly fine here without it. But I just find Nourish is helpful on pretty much any build. Oh, some Overguard here. There we go. Yeah, the 4's armor stripping. I've never noticed that the 4 armor strips. Let's get rid of this little guy. And what I like to do with his 4 is do a bullet jump and then cast it at the end so that you're flying forward. So that you can hit as many enemies as possible for your Overguard. And plus you just freeze as many people as you want. Let's go ahead and fry these guys here with Burst on. There we go. There's Containment Breach for my Arc Gun, which is pretty nice. Oh, Mania's here. That's cool. Let's get rid of Mania. Get rid of this guy. There we go. But yeah, this is probably my favorite build at the moment. This one's easily my favorite as of right now. I don't know. Survivability, it's like I'm playing on easy mode almost. Because the enemies just can't do anything to me. So I can just run free with everything I want to do. I've been using this to farm for Grendel. I've been using it for relics. I got it in Duviri the other day and was using it there. This has just been my all-around build that I've been enjoying here lately. And I'm curious how it'll feel once I get Nourish subsumed onto here, because from what I've heard, that's a really good ability to have. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you try this build out on your own, and I'm just gonna stack up Overguard here. And if you do, let me know. Full freeze him. But yeah, let me know if there's any frames you want to see. I should be doing a Necros video once I get him from the circuit this week. And let me know if you have any tips for Necros, because I don't really know anything about him. But I'll be doing some research and stuff beforehand to get my Necros build going and ready for you guys in probably the next week or so. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.